January 1947. Los Angeles was still asleep. A thin winter fog crawled along the streets, dulling the streetlights, swallowing sound. The war was over, but the city hadn't exhaled yet. It held its breath in the early hours before dawn. On Norton Avenue, an empty lot sat waiting. Grass cut short, earth cold and damp. The silence was absolute. Then, footsteps. A woman walking with her child, the sound muffled by the fog. She noticed something in the field. A shape. At first, it looked unreal, pale, clean, carefully placed. Like something staged for an audience that hadn't arrived yet. She thought it was a mannequin. Los Angeles was full of strange things like that. Props, illusions left over from a film shoot. It was a city built on make-believe, after all. But as she moved closer, the truth rose up through the fog and stopped her cold. This was no illusion. The body of a young woman lay there, severed cleanly at the waist, drained of all blood, arranged. Her face had been carved into a grotesque smile that never reached her vacant eyes. A horrifying, permanent grin. The city would wake soon. And when it did, nothing would ever feel the same. This was the discovery that would haunt Los Angeles for generations. Her name was Elizabeth Short. She had been born in 1924, far from the palm trees and promises of Southern California. She was a sickly child, suffering from asthma, which led her family to send her to Florida for the winters. She grew into a quiet girl, but by her late teens, she was restless. She drifted from place to place, chasing warmth, chasing something she couldn't quite name. Like so many others, she was pulled west, toward the magnetic glow of Hollywood. Los Angeles was supposed to be the answer. For countless young dreamers, it always was. A place to reinvent yourself, to escape your past, to become a star. Elizabeth arrived with hopes of breaking into acting, but the reality was far less glamorous. People who remembered her described her as polite, soft-spoken. She was known for her striking looks, dark hair, pale skin, and a penchant for dressing in black. She was always smiling, a friendly face in a city that could be deeply lonely. She moved through a transient world of cheap rooms, bus stations, and coffee shops, leaving barely a trace. She floated through the city's underbelly, making connections, taking odd jobs, always just on the edge of making it, or so it seemed. In many ways, she was a ghost before she ever died, a fleeting presence in a city of millions. The life of a Hollywood hopeful was often a precarious one, filled with uncertainty and disappointment. For Elizabeth, it would end in unimaginable horror. When her body was discovered, the media frenzy was immediate and intense. The newspapers, locked in a brutal circulation war, latched onto the case with a feverish hunger. They needed a name, a hook, something that would sell papers and capture the public's imagination. And so, they gave her a name she never chose for herself, the Black Dahlia. The moniker likely came from the popular 1946 film noir, The Blue Dahlia, combined with her dark hair and black clothing. It sounded like a movie, like danger, like glamour. The city loved it. The name stuck, and it transformed a tragic young woman into a lurid, sensationalized character. The headlines screamed. The crime scene photos, though brutal, were published, burning themselves into the public's mind. The Los Angeles Police Department was immediately flooded with tips. Hundreds of them. People called in claiming to have seen her, to know her killer, to have information. Confessions poured in from liars, drunks, and the mentally broken. People seeking a moment in the spotlight, no matter how grim. Dozens of people confessed to the murder, but each confession was quickly debunked. The police were overwhelmed, chasing down endless false leads, while the real killer remained a phantom. The investigation itself was one of the largest in LAPD history. Every detective, every officer was put on the case. They retraced Elizabeth's final days, a confusing trail of sightings and encounters. They interviewed hundreds of people, boyfriends, acquaintances, men she'd met in bars, anyone who had crossed her path. But her life had been so transient that piecing together her movements was like trying to catch smoke. The body itself told a story, but not enough. The cuts were precise, deliberate. The work was so clean, so controlled, that investigators initially believed the killer must have had medical or surgical training. This was not a crime of passion, an explosive act of rage. Whoever did this took their time. Whoever did this was calm, methodical, and chillingly organized. And then, they had disappeared into the vast sprawl of Los Angeles, like a ghost into the night. The killer even taunted the police and the press. A package was mailed to the Los Angeles Examiner, containing Elizabeth Short's social security card, birth certificate, photographs, and an address book. The items had been wiped clean with gasoline to remove any fingerprints. The sender had also meticulously cut out letters from newspapers to form a note. It read, "Here are Dahlia's belongings. Letter to follow." No meaningful letter ever arrived. It was a calculated act of defiance, a way for the killer to insert themselves into the narrative and prove they were still out there, watching and in control. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. The public's fascination never waned. Suspects came and went. Big names were whispered. Wealthy doctors, Hollywood figures, small-time criminals. Careers were built and ruined on the back of the case. The official file grew thicker, filled with dead ends, false starts, and tantalizing but unprovable theories. Yet, the answers never materialized. Over the years, the list of potential suspects has become a who's who of mid-century Los Angeles' dark side. One of the most famous was George Hodel, a prominent physician with a genius IQ and a taste for surrealist art. His own son, a retired LAPD detective, would later build a compelling case against him, pointing to his father's surgical skills and a secret room in their home. Cadaver dogs even alerted to the scent of human remains in the basement. But Hodel was never charged and died in 1999, taking any secrets he had to the grave. Other theories pointed to different men, different motives. But with no physical evidence, no confession that held up, and no definitive witness, every path led to a dead end. The case officially remains open to this day. In the end, Elizabeth Short became more than a victim. She became a legend, a cautionary tale. Her story was a brutal proof that a city built on dreams could turn them into nightmares without blinking. She symbolized the dark side of the Hollywood dream, a danger that lurked just beneath the glamorous surface. Her unsolved murder became a permanent stain on the city's history, a question mark hanging over the sun-drenched boulevards. The empty lot on Norton Avenue, where her body was found, was eventually built upon. A house now stands where she lay, the ground covered up, paved over, as if the earth itself wanted to forget the horror it witnessed that foggy January morning. But some things don't stay buried. Not really. Even now, decades after the headlines faded and the investigators grew old, her story lingers. You can feel it in the quiet streets of Los Angeles after midnight, in the strange, empty spaces between the pools of light from the street lamps. Her ghost haunts the city, not as a supernatural being, but as a memory, a story that refuses to be forgotten. It's in the uneasy feeling that some questions were never meant to be answered, and that some horrors can never truly be laid to rest, because the killer was never found. They were never brought to justice. They may have lived out their days in quiet anonymity, perhaps walking the same streets as everyone else, a monster hidden in plain sight. And the silence they left behind, a silence that began in a foggy field in 1947, still speaks volumes. It speaks of a promise unfulfilled, a life cut short, and a mystery that may forever define the dark heart of the City of Angels. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as haunting as we do, please consider subscribing for more deep dives into history's most compelling mysteries. We'll see you in the next one.